of the men at the top who are Igbos to come speak about Nnamdi Kanu's issue or involve themselves.
Maybe they're not loud enough.
I laugh. The Igbo people we are one of the smartest people. We are not just book smart, we are street smart, and we are business smart. Okay? You're telling someone to come and support a movement or talk about a movement that he initially is not wanting to be part of. The Biafran movement is not something that all Igbos are in support of. So stop trying, I need people to stop trying to mash us into one. There is a divide already on this movement. Before IPOB, there was Masob. How did Masob run their agenda so peacefully? But when it was time for the IPOB, we are having chaos. The East is not what it used to be. We can't travel anymore. The UGMs are in play. The ESN are in play. My state is in shambles because I am from the same state as he is. You can't come out on Mondays anymore. You move, you get killed. Why is nobody saying anything about that? We are more worried about one man who put the whole of the East in disarray for doing the wrong thing. There's tyranny, there's treason. Are we going to advocate for a tyrant? You want a cessation, you do not go about it the legal way, and you put everybody's lives from the East into problems, and then you want us to stand behind violence? Has any of you taken the time to listen to Nnamdi's radio channel for 1 hour and hear the amount of hate? The hate. I don't speak on this because it pains me to my blood. I know what we are facing. The civil war is still a mark. My father was one of them, and he will tell you, anything you do in life, do not advocate for a war. The general who started it, God rest his soul, he came out to say he regretted his actions. He wasn't even here when the chips were down. And you think Kanu will be here when he sets? What are we kidding ourselves? What are we saying? We are not, there are a lot of us not in support of the movement, and that's facts. And you cannot force it upon anybody, whether as a leader, as a statesman, or whoever hierarchy. If I'm not in support, I'm not in support. You can't use my political ambition or my political stance to hold it against me that I'm not speaking of. Igbo people are smart. We choose our battles wisely. And for this battle of Nnamdikanu, we are choosing to stay silent. And the people who are chosen to stay silent should not be bullied for their choice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This live video I'm making this morning is to let you guys know that, look, yes, the court of first instance have given his judgment. That doesn't mean that his right to appeal has been closed or foreclosed. No, he has a right to appeal his judgment. He has a right to appeal that judgment. Then even when the appeal comes out, the judgment in the court of appeal comes out, he also has a right to the Supreme Court. It is not yet the end. So why the cry? Why all the emotional things? Why the insult on people? Must everybody support IPOB? I'm an Igbo woman, but I'm not IPOB. I'm not in support of them. Now we say justice is everybody's business. What about those who died? What about those who were killed by these IPOB people under his command? What about them? Dora Kunyeli's husband is an example. What about the unknown gunmen? Yes, I agree. He has every right to seek what he wanted. Everybody has a right to agitate for change. Everybody has a right to agitate for change. You guys know me. I'm stubborn when I believe in something. So at a point, I liked this young man. I loved Nnamdikanu. At a point. Because I could see a young man vibrating, wanting for change, calling for change, just like our late Ojukwu. Everybody loved the movement. Everybody loved the idea. Everybody loved the way it was going. But immediately bloodshed entered. I cut myself off. Immediately they started, the command and everything started. Bloodshed. It became another thing. I said, no, I'm not part of this. Because my duty first, my love first is to humanity. Nobody's life should be cut short because I'm agitating for something I don't even know if I will get. Now, what was the cause of the fight in Rwanda? Most of you don't know history. Most of you don't read. Everybody's saying, did he kill anybody? Did he do this? Did he do that? When you incite violence, when you talk to people in such a way that you ginger them, that is why influencers should be careful. I always tell, especially Facebook influencers, those that have the power to move people. Most people don't reason. Most people don't use their brain. Then there are some of us that have the brain. God has given us brain. We can either use it for good or for evil. Then when you now use that brain that God has given you to incite violence in people, tell them that this person is your enemy, that person is your enemy, the person that wears good clothes is your enemy, the person that do this is your enemy. The person begin to, you have worked on them. They believe in you. They see you as a God. Once people start looking at you, looking up to you, seeing you as a role model, you have to be careful what you say. Because if what you say makes them commit a crime, you are in for it. That is the truth. Now, what is the cause of the war between the Hutu and the Tutsi in Rwanda? I visited Rwanda. I went to the genocide museum. I saw things for myself raw. Most of you don't travel. Most of you don't know history. Right now in Rwanda, there's no tribe. Ask anybody, where are you from? I'm from Rwanda. They don't have I am from Igbo, or I'm from Yoruba, or I'm from Hausa. I think Nigeria too should imbibe that. Nigeria should copy that thing from Rwanda. Rwandans are not friendly. Like, they are very, very skeptical. They don't trust outsiders. When I visited Rwanda and I saw all of them, they are not open to receiving guests because they don't know if you're coming to destroy them again. That genocide left their mental health scattered. So if you have seen war, you go run from war. What was the cause of Rwandan this thing? Ordinary utterance that was made on a radio station, calling a particular tribe cockroaches. If you don't know about the history, watch this movie sometime in April, or you watch Hotel Rwanda. Watch it. Our own Stephanie Kwenedo acted it, a Nigerian lady. She was one of the major characters in that Hotel Rwanda. Then Idris Elba acted sometime in April. Go and watch that movie so you understand how the Rwandan war started. Utterances, just talk, when person talk for radio station. They fought that war for many years. That Rwanda is still trying to revive. In fact, Rwanda has done well after 20-something years. After 20-something years of that fight. No, almost 30 years of that fight. After 20-something years of that fight, or 30, let's just approximately 30 years. They're just trying to recover. And they're doing very well. Nigerian Naira is just few change above their own. Very soon, their money will be above our own. We are here. Rwanda that faced real civil war, internal civil war. We are here. Ordinary utterance scattered the whole country. Then you are saying that is injustice. What about those that died? What about those that died and lost their life? That if your family member did not die does not mean that the person who incited it does not deserve some punishment, level of punishment. What are you saying? Everybody's just being emotional. What about those that died? Those that were their life were cut short. Those that were kidnapped. There's a lawyer. There's a Rotarian in Port Harcourt. Up to today, they've not seen his body. Teddy or something they call him. Speedy or Teddy, something like that. What are you saying? Igbos are the ones suffering this thing. Igbos are suffering it. Igbos in Ugwa are suffering Ugwa this thing. Any small thing, the Hausas will start burning their properties. Those in the north. Igbos in the north are suffering. Any small incitement, anything with us incite violence, they will burn Igbos property. Burn Igbos this thing, pursue Igbos, kill Igbos. Igbos will run down to Igbo states. When they run down to Igbo states, their own home, IPOB and Sepamba. So Igbos, I began to cry for the Igbo. Where will they stay? Where will they call home? They run to Lagos. Lagos shall say no be Igbo. Get out. Come out every Igbo. This and that. They go to Ugwausa. They threaten them. They come to Ali Igbo. They threaten them. So where do you want Igbos to stay? Nobody's looking at that. Most of you are just head mentality, brainless. You want to unfollow me? I will follow you now. I thought, fuck you. Block yourself. Do you pay me? You're coming to tell me that you want because I air my opinion. Because I said my own part of what I feel. You see that judgment? It is airtight. There's no judgment that cannot face appeal. But the truth is that judgment will stand any appeal, even any appeal before God. That judgment will stand. I have the job. I'll send it on. I will paste that. I will paste that judgment on this on the comment section. I have gone through the judgment. I read it. That judgment is airtight. Justice Omotosho did a very thorough job. Now let us even look at it. He had his lawyers along the line. His choice of lawyers were even very okay. Kanu Agabi, I love that man to stupor. Good, brilliant, one of the best lawyers in Nigeria. He had them along the line. He debriefed them that he wanted to do his case himself. They gave him time to do his case himself. He started dribbling everybody. Okay, look at his attitude in court. How do you even start to beg for such a person? I will just ask him. How do you if you even want to beg for such a person, how? Get a hold on your emotions. Because the international community is watching. Now if they even want to beg for you, how did they start? You that insult a judge, call the judge by the name and tell him he doesn't know anything. You that push people, don't touch me, you are pushing. Why the drag to what end? And nobody's looking at that. Nobody's looking at that. He had his chances. Okay, defend yourself. Yes, anybody can defend. Anybody can represent themselves in court. Defend yourself. Time was running out. Defend yourself. Nothing. Let me tell you, when you rest your case on that of the prosecution, when you say, look, I have no case to answer, or I rest my case, it's suicidal. You are not giving the court the right to judge you by your opponent's testimony against you. That is what he did. Okay, my opponent has finished talking, Abi. I don't have anything to answer him. You refuse to put a defense. No matter what the defense is, put up a defense. You did not put up a defense. You did not put up a defense. And you want the judge to give you what you don't ask for. You want the judge to perform magic. How? By the time you rest your case on that of the prosecution, it is a suicidal. Immediately he did that, and I knew it was suicidal. What were people expecting? That they would not free him? He couldn't even defend himself. Come and say, oh, at least leave your legal, even though you know all the law. When it comes to representing yourself, you will lose it. I am a lawyer, a proud lawyer. But there are some cases that are personal. I will have to brief my colleague to come and represent me. Because if I represent myself, I will lose, I will make mistake. Dr. Ada Agwonwea, even if you are a born lawyer, Dr. Ada Agwonwea, when she come to shove, you call a lawyer, you brief a lawyer to please come and, you know the law. But when it comes to that, representing yourself, you must miss it. You'll be emotional. You had a very beautiful legal team. Kanu Agabi saying, I know they joke with that man. You debriefed him. That guy, shit. How do you start to beg? How do you even start to defend such a person? Erratic, anger, everything, everybody watched it. Yet people are saying it's injustice. How? How is it injustice? Those who lost their life on hip hop and all this demand, look at what happened. And people were not listening to his radio communication. People were not listening to everything he was saying. People were not listening to, what about the military guys, the military couple that were killed in Olu? The video was there, the woman was beheaded, her vagina was cut off. When I don't see the video, how do you see white and call it black? How is it injustice? Who will give those ones justice? Whose command were they carrying out? Igbos in military, waste them, kill them. Whose command were they carrying out? Whose command were they carrying out? You incite people into war, you incite people into fighting themselves and say it's not your fault because you are not the one in the forefront that did it. As long as you are an influence that incited these people, my dear, you are going down with them. So at what point did they do injustice? Let me understand. You are calling it injustice. What is injustice? He was given a right to represent himself. He was given a right to counsel. He was given, I was even shocked that Justice Omotosho gave his people right for allocutus. I called one or two of my friends. I was following up yesterday, but I was too busy. So once I would just call Victor. Alpha, I've definitely delivered the judgment. Okay, what about allocutus? This one, he doesn't have a lawyer. Who will do allocutus for him? Allocutus means plea for mercy. I was so happy when Justice Omotosho gave them the microphone. I said, since you're a legal consultant and you have been coming to court for him, please, I will not shut him out from allocutus. Say he's allocutus or say something about allocutus. That is plea for mercy. And this Mr. Obi, he used to be my friend. Mr. Obi took the microphone and started talking. I listened to his speech. I listened to his legal counsel's speech. He was given all the rights for fair hearing, up to allocutus. He was given all. There was no command, no mistake. That's why I said that judgment is airtight. It will stand any appeal, even before God and man. That judgment will stand any appeal. And my only fear is that if he stands appeal, I pray they don't give him the maximum punishment. Maximum punishment is death. Death sentence immediately. So now, I'm even surprised that the judge was mindful enough to reduce it to just life imprisonment. At least life imprisonment. At least being alive and serving a life imprisonment, there is hope that one day something will happen. But what about death sentence? He did not even pronounce the maximum that was required by law. He gave him life, which is fair. But you people don't understand. That's why you are emotional. What if it was death sentence? What should I go to talk? The death sentence they give him before Friday they don't buy him. What should I go talk? Like, What are the reason?
Well, I'm not going to say much to this lady as regards to the things she said, but I would just have this to say to every one of you there who are applauding Justice Omotosho and insisting that he did a good job with the judgment of Nnamdikanu, the conviction. We need to step back and ask some honest questions. Is it suddenly a crime to seek a self-determination? Is it now illegal in Nigeria for people to demand a referendum, even though it is not written or documented in any form? Is it illegal to express the desire for a separate nation? Because if we all truly respect the law, then we must admit that self-determination is not a crime under any Nigerian statute. Let's remove sentiments. Let's remove hate. Let's remove some kind of ill-human behavior towards this very judgment. Let's be plain. It is a constitutional and international right to agitate, to seek for freedom, to seek for a separate nation, whichever way you see it. If you were affected directly or indirectly, I can understand as humans, you have feelings, you have emotion, you have to pour it out, you have to express it. It is normal. But you don't stake Nigerian law into it. No democratic society punishes a man for merely expressing a political aspirations. It is also not compulsory for everyone to agree with Nnamdi Kanu's method or rhetoric. Even within liberation movements, there will always be disagreements. During Mandela, even King Saro-Wiwa faced internal criticism from their own people. That is normal. But disagreement does not erase the legitimacy of the cause. When a people feel marginalized or unheard, they will naturally seek a path to freedom. And anyone who champions such a cause must be ready to sacrifice both physically, mentally, and socially. So in that regard, nobody can deny that Nnamdi Kanu has carried his own cross. It is not so. Yes, some may say that he made mistakes. Yes, of course, there are mistakes that are hurdles he actually took that wasn't necessary. There are thoughts or there are things he said or did that many believe he should not have done. But mistakes are not crimes, and they are definitely not grounds for injustice. What matters is the law. Nigeria is not a monarchy. No one rules by decree. If you claim to operate under law and order, then the law must be very clear, valid, and applicable to everybody. You said you are a lawyer. This particular lady says she's a lawyer, but she didn't talk about the repealed law that Nnamdi Kanu has been yarning about. You said Nnamdi Kanu deserves this. He said the judgment is tight and all of that. The painful truth is that nobody should be judged based on a law that does not exist. And I believe that this lady here, probably she's not even in Nigeria. She's actually coexisting in where laws are really mandated on everybody. So it's not even surprising. And also, this is why so many Nigerians, lawyers, activists, and observers believe something is fundamentally wrong with the entire process in Nigeria. The entire system is so bad. You cannot stretch the law to fit an accusation. You cannot create offenses where none exist. And you cannot criminalize political opinion simply because it threatens the comfort of the ruling elite. If the government truly wants justice, then let justice be consistent. Let justice be transparent. Let justice follow due process. From his abduction in Kenya to detention in DSS custody, Nigeria's judicial credibility already is at stake. And every politically influenced ruling sends a message that courts are no longer arbiters of justice, but tools of politics. So instead of praising the judgment blandly, ask the right questions. As a lawyer, why is a man being tried under charges that even seasoned lawyers describe as vague, as repealed, as non-existent? Why has the government refused to obey earlier court rulings ordering his release? Why is the self-determination treated like prison? Why? Why is the law being bent instead of being followed? Because law is a statute. Because law is statutory. There's no emotion in it. There's no bias, no sentiment. Why is the due process suddenly optional? So those who clap for injustice today, forget that injustice does not stop with one person. Once the law becomes flexible in the hands of politicians, nobody is safe anymore. Not you, not your tribe, not your children. This is not about loving or hating Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, what he does, or his opinion, his whatever. It is about defending a principle that freedom of expression, self-determination, and fair trial are all rights, not favors. Nigeria either respect the law or it openly admit that the law no longer rules the country. Until then, the conversation continues. As always, this is About Perspectives, your domain for unfiltered news and raw political analysis. Thank you for watching.